Hey guys, June here, and this is a guide video for the challenge mode of Vindicta and Gorvek. Let me start by saving everybody a lot of time and say this fight really sucks, and the rewards are kind of pathetic in comparison to the difficulty and the length of the fight, so the only people who should be doing this are those who need the 100 kill count for the Insane Final Boss title. This fight shouldn't even be appealing to pet hunters because although the pet drop rate is doubled, the fight takes about 3 times as long as the standard Vindicta fight, so you have a net loss in your total time expected to receive the pet. As far as gearing up is concerned, any attack style will work fine, but I choose to use melee because the additional healing from the Scrimshaw of Vampirism is nice. This is also one of the rare locations where it's actually justified to use raid gear, or alternatively your tier 90 power armor, because the defense is going to be really important for blocking a lot of the auto attack damage. You also definitely want a yak full of food, and you definitely want to be using dread nips. And finally, on top of all of that, you may want to bring a shield switch so that we can resonance one specific attack that I'll talk about later on. For the sake of saving time, I'm also going to assume that you already know the basics of the Vindicta and Gorvek fight. If you don't, click the annotation on screen and that will take you over to my video on the normal mode. So for the first 150,000 HP of the challenge mode fight, it's going to be roughly identical to the first 100,000 HP in the normal mode fight, with the exception of everything dealing doubled damage. As long as you're quickly escaping the purple dragonfire, you should be able to make it through this entire part of the fight just with Soul Split, but if you find that you're struggling, you can always switch to the melee protect prayer when Vindicta is going to do her spin special attack. When Vindicta's HP hits 150,000, she mounts Gorvek just like in the original fight. However, in challenge mode, her basic attacks deal such incredibly high damage that we actually need to pay very close attention to the special attack rotation. When Gorvek does the Dragonfire, we want to put on Deflect Melee, and then after the first hit we want to switch to Deflect from Ranged. The second hit is a ranged attack, and then the third hit is a melee attack again, before Gorvek does the Purple Fire again, and that repeats until killed. Each of the melee hits can hit up to 4,000 damage if not blocked with prayers, but the ranged hit itself can hit up to 7,000 damage, and even higher if the player is using Berserk. It's also extremely accurate, and I have not seen it miss yet, regardless of what type of armor the player is using or what style. Even with the correct prayer on, this attack often hits over 3,000, so it's important to keep your HP high, or if you brought the shield switch like I recommended, you can switch and use your resonance to heal from this specific attack, and that gives you a great chance to conserve food on this particular part of the fight. This cycle will continue for another 150,000 HP. Once you've dealt a total of 300,000 damage to the boss, Vindicta dies and you're left fighting Gorvek alone. Gorvek has an additional 300,000 HP, which is what makes this fight so long and so tedious. His only 2 attacks at this point in the fight are to continue to lay down the lines of Purple Fire like he did previously, and a simple melee basic attack that hits extremely high and extremely rapidly, up to 1,000 damage through prayer. The melee damage will stack up very considerably, so it's important to use things like Devotion and Debilitate as often as possible to reduce that incoming damage, because you will eat a lot of food during this portion of the fight. This simple cycle will repeat until you kill Gorvek and the fight is finally over, and overall you can expect this to take 5 or 6 minutes depending on how quickly you DPS. All in all, there's very little you can do to mitigate incoming damage on this part of the phase. Not even walking the boss will prevent the melee attacks from hitting you. And finally, the cherry on top of this miserable fight is that there appears to be a glitch that causes the purple lines of fire to occasionally be invisible while still being able to deal damage, so be careful and make sure you're not taking any magic hits, or you may be standing on top of one of the dragon fire lines that was supposed to have expired, but didn't. That's it for this fight, guys. Thank you for watching, and let me say I'm really not looking forward to doing this, and I'm sure most of you probably aren't going to try it after hearing me talk about it in this video, but maybe if you're a masochist or if you're looking for a challenge, I wish you all good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.